All right, we're going to kick off this episode of Shoedogg and Mike here. So before we went on the air here, we had an amazing pre-show playlist, Mike. We were doing fucking Bare Naked Ladies, The Old Apartment. I just about ripped a hole in my britches when Banditos came on by the Refreshments. That's the song I used to put on the radio when I did the request show back in the day. Had the Van Halen in there. Mm-hmm. Van Hagar, to be precise.
Yeah. Well, again, that's like one of those down the middle type things where are you Team Edward or are you Team Jacob? Do you like Sammy Hagar or do you like David Lee Roth?
Did you just literally compare...
Do you like Equalizer or Equalizer 2?
The fuck does that even mean?
Oh, those are awesome, dude. You have to see them.
I understood the Twilight reference, unfortunately, but I have no idea what the hell you just said otherwise.
I can give you a 3-word tagline that would get you to watch both of them. Denzel killing people.
Oh, Denzel.
Killing people.
Oh, man.
It's 2 movies of him going fucking John Wick on people.
I'm going to take that opportunity to throw in a bit of a cheap plug for the comedy album of the moment by Stephen Lynch. Mild Heart, featuring a hilarious fucking song called Denzel. He's funny. I mean, I think more so than... I don't think you should call him a singing comedian. I think you should call him a musician.
Well, yeah,
he's fucking funny.
Correct. He's not like Ray Stevens.
Don't look, Ethel. Ray Stevens made a lot of dead serious music over the years. Okay. Of course, then he turned into a fucking Obama-hating, Republican, Sean Hannity wagon, music video-making Republican.
It's very nice of you to call a racist person Obama-hating instead of calling him racist.
I'm glad that we managed to get to... We somehow got to Stephen Lynch to Ray Stevens to Donald Trump in 3 steps.
Well, because Ray Stevens starts to sound like racism if you say it fast enough.
Oh my God.
It does.
Oh, that's fucking funny. Dude, I grew up listening to Ray Stevens. My parents loved that shit. That stuff was funny. That's kind of where probably my appreciation for funny music over the years came from. This may never get to happen. Cheers to fucking Ray Stevens. Why the fuck not?
I was just going to say, before we do that, I have no clue if Ray Stevens is in fact racist. It's just his name. It's not his fault.
I don't think he's racist. He got sucked up into misguided political music.
Isn't that so much smoother?
We love you, Ahab the Arab. That was smooth. This is the maker's mark, yes?
No disrespect to Jim, who has served us well on many podcasts.
Oh, yeah.
And other occasions, but there's something about Makers 46 that is... I wish we could run ads so that we could pick the ads and it would be all like liquor and shit.
Well, it'd be better than being sponsored by Dick Pills like every other podcast that talks about wrestling. So, I mean, I guess we're in good shape. Hey, Conrad, get us a job, buddy.
Conrad?
Then we could get into the WWE.
Is he like the podcast mogul?
He's the podfather.
Is he like the Al Pacino of podcasting?
Come on, man. Conrad Thompson.
I knew his name because I follow JR on Twitter.
Right, he hosts JR's show. He hosts...
But I don't know his other shit.
He hosts Bruce Pritchard. He hosts Eric Bischoff, Arn Anderson. Yeah, no, he's, the mortgage guy.
Sure.
Oh, man. So, anyway, how about... We're not going to plug Conrad Thompson's businesses. We've done enough for that. Let's get into plugging of our own shows here.
Yeah. For those of you not following us on Twitter, we know people listen.
You're out there. We know it. Thank you.
Takes a fucking second. Don't be so lazy. At Shoedogg M. Also, YouTube channel is going to be the easiest click for the show for the time being. The episodes are all on there. You can go to SoundCloud for In the Car, whatever you want. That's under Shoedogg and Mike Podcast on SoundCloud as well.
There we go.
But make sure you definitely follow us on Twitter because we had this whole Facebook thing for a while, and then that kind of derailed. And
well, it's there to spread the word, man. You got to be on all the social media platforms. That's what they're there for. If there were still MySpace, we'd be on MySpace.
Well, when Shoedogg takes...
At least we know Tom was listening.
When Shoedogg takes a break from looking at mythical elf porn, he will tweet occasionally cool shit that he finds that maybe we're not talking about on the show, but he finds it.
Well, every now and again, I'm not going to lie, you're the master of the domain of the social media. Yeah. So, and that's good.
Yeah, show us the closest thing that you can find to elf porn that doesn't actually have nudity in it. That's your challenge, everybody.
Oh, God, we're going to get, like, people who LARP and shit responding to this. This is going to get really ugly. You are going to regret this proposal severely.
I would love to go LARPing just once. Just to have a tinfoil shield with cardboard in it.
Guess what? Don't invite me.
Come on.
No.
Duct tape your hand to it. It would be
Absolutely
sweet.
not.
You could have a sword that's basically a pool noodle with fucking cardboard and aluminum foil.
We're role-playing right now that we're radio personalities. I mean, this is our version of LARPing on the porch.
It's LARPing with bourbon. So
cheers.
It's not really as bad as LARPing. Although, I bet you LARPing people drink. Do you think they get fucked up when they LARP?
I think they're all twisted out on acid, probably.
Oh, no, that's probably not true. Acid, from what I'm told, I've never indulged, but I've been told that you can really have a super bad time. And I think if a bunch of people were LARPing and they all decided it wasn't a good time, it would be a fucking shit show. And we would have read an article or saw a YouTube video about it already.
Now, Mike.
Yes.
I'm not necessarily...
Because, don't deny it, when you think of LARPing, in the back of your very mind, you are thinking this kind of starts to sound like what might happen at the gathering of the Juggalos, or something like that, you know?
No, when I think of LARPing, I think of one of the funniest movies that I loved when I first saw it, and I saw it again not too long ago, and it's still fucking hilarious, which is Role Models.
With Stifler.
Yep. Poor Sean William Scott.
Okay.
He's still known as Stifler.
Oh.
That's like when someone sees Henry Winkler now at 70 years old and goes, "Hey, Fonzie!"
I didn't know.
I don't know why Fonzie came out like a Italian accent. It's me, a Mario. It's me, a Fonzie. Hey. So where the fuck was I even trying to go with that? LARPing. We're still talking about LARPing. Role models. Oh.
Speaking of LARPing, think of the nerdy-ass Japanese person who decided to make a video game about an Italian plumber from New York.
And it's one of the greatest, most legendary video games ever made.
Sure.
To this day, a good Mario game.
Well, I will say...
so much fun. Odyssey on the Switch, top-notch. Fucking top-notch.
Would you say that across all platforms, that franchise can still claim to be the top all-time grossing franchise in video games?
So you're asking my opinion on something that can be based as a complete fact? This is like a Donald Trump interview here.
Do it. I stopped purchasing shit from Nintendo long ago.
You know
that
what?
I have
Here,
no idea.
I will parse the question in this manner.
Okay.
Are you referring to the Mario games then as a quote series, or literally as a bunch of games surrounding the character of Mario?
No, the franchise. I'm talking about.
Okay, the franchise.
The games are one thing. The merchandise. Okay, the branding that.
Okay, well then,
when it co-sponsors something.
Okay.
A Mario bag of M&Ms.
Well then, I have an answer for you.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure the answer for highest-grossing game franchise is probably Call of Duty.
Really?
Because those games have fucking gone bonzuko sales every November for like the last 15 years running.
Did like Call of Duty hoodies take the place of Affliction t-shirts?
It doesn't matter, man. If that game sells 10 million copies on an annual basis. That's interesting. That's some off the air research we'll do when we get off the air here. I mean, I'm curious. I'm gonna guess. So does that mean Mario is your choice, or you're just throwing it out there?
Somebody can throw the actual answer to that in the comments below, or tweet it at us.
So what you're saying is do our research for us.
Oh yeah, I'm always saying that. Who wants to do work? What the fuck?
Fair enough.
Were you hating on relaxing?
But no, I mean, are you referring to, this is getting deep, this is turning into our whole fucking podcast here. Are you referring to simply games that you would consider directly in the canon, like direct Super Mario World Galaxy, or including Mario Kart, Mario Tennis, Mario fucking Golf?
Well, because face it,
it's got Mario in the title, it's...
Yeah. Well,
that broadens the scope of a huge amount of games then. But, I don't know. Let's put it this way. Since Call of Duty has been out, I would say during that period of time, it has been the best-selling game franchise. Mario had a head start on the whole race. But, yeah, because those things, I mean, they've cooled off a little bit, but they're still huge.
I would have thought Marvel would have been in the running in there somewhere.
You can open up an umbrella probably inclusive of hundreds of fucking games then, because...
That's what I'm saying.
You got so many franchises involved.
Well, that's what I mean.
Yeah. Well, now we're really turning this into some deep. We're gonna have to make some flow charts up or something.
Well,
to
we
figure
don't.
This
Well,
shit
no,
out.
that just means we don't know which one it is. Somebody has to hook us up.
Someone's
got to
figure that out.
We don't have time for that.
Somebody who's bigger video game nerds than us, who's top up on their stuff.
I got all kinds of shit to do. I can't Google that right now.
So anyway, you wanted to. We didn't even get to it on the last show. You were giddy with excitement when we were doing that show yet, but we just never got around to it. The big concert you saw during the summer.
Oh yeah. Well, there was originally not going to be a big concert that I saw in the summer. And then Groupon came in at the last second. Actually, somebody on Facebook came in at the last second and was doing like a blast advertising of these Groupon deals on tickets.
They're the best.
And I haven't been to Montage in a long time. Last time I was there was to see Megadeth, Slayer, and Anthrax.
Meaning Montage Mountain in Scranton?
Correct.
In case somebody from outside of Pennsylvania is listening, that's where the office was.
Well, that venue, I only went to those 2 times, and I gotta say, for the money I spent, it was incredible. Now, don't get this tangled up. When I walked around the perimeter, I was not about to spend $14.25 on a fucking beer.
Oh, why not?
No.
That's the spirit of the occasion. That's how they count on you.
No. But to their credit, they didn't charge you shit to park.
That they don't.
I guess your way of paying for parking was walking uphill to your car afterwards.
And the 4-hour wait afterwards.
Yeah. But, nevertheless, awesome fucking show.
Yep.
I'm one of those people who, when I have opportunities to go to concerts, whether I pay for it or I don't, I'm always more likely to be willing to go to a show by myself if it's a metal show.
Mike, perhaps I missed it, but in all that time you spoke about getting the tickets on the Groupon and the this and the that. Did you ever actually state what fucking bands you saw?
Well, hold on a second.
Oh, this is all part of the big build-up? Oh, okay.
It's not a big build-up.
Just making sure.
It's not a big build-up. It's just that I'm not one of those people who goes to festivals, so I don't have a way to compare Knotfest to what this tour is called, which is the Knotfest Road Show. I'm not one of those people who can go, well, I have zero experience. I've only been to this one tour show, whereas before it was like a 2-3 day thing that people went and festivaled at. And you and I both know that festivaling can be a little bit different from going to a concert.
Well, yes, but I'm still saying I don't think you've named the bands that you actually went to see.
So for those of you who don't know who's on the Knotfest bill, that would be the headliners, Slipknot, who brings Volbeat to do a fairly lengthy set, and then the 2 openers are Behemoth and Gojira, which, if you listen to metal and you enjoy metal, you know and like both of those bands to some degree. But the point was, awesome venue. I heard people talk shit about the sound. All 4 bands sounded awesome. I took a video that I've posted online a couple times from Gojira's set where people weren't moving a ton. I mean, they were into it and everything, but there wasn't a whole lot of like pits or anything. And the sound was so awesome. I did not wear earplugs because I typically wear earplugs only to the indoor shows.
Mm-hmm. Oh, the reverb, yeah.
Yep. The Toyota Pavilion has, a little bit of space where stuff can escape. And
it spreads.
You got to look at it like, if you're going to go to a show by yourself, right, which I did, do you really want to go to some packed club and be all smushed up against people you don't know? Do you want to sit in a balcony by yourself? Like, how do you want to take this in? So I didn't do the lawn. I didn't want to fuck with the lawn, and I've been to many shows where I was on the lawn and I had a great time at all of them.
Yeah, you care for that more than I do. Never been a fan.
But I got a seat, and it was $30. I mean, for those 4 bands, and truthfully, they didn't have to have 4 people on the bill, and it still would have been worth $30.
And you said it was what, like $80 face value normally?
Oh, I don't know. I have no clue.
Ridiculous like that.
It probably said it when I bought it, but I didn't bother to write it down or anything. But
yeah,
it
way more than $30.
Well, and you know me, I'm one of those people who has tried to avoid going to see, like, clearing my throat arena metal, like, those bands who kind of straddle the, maybe like a Disturbed or those bands that are, what do you call them, vanilla-ish metal?
Fucking Five Finger Death Punch, the band that can ruin any classic rock song, and has ruined enough of them.
Sure.
Stop doing it, please.
Good luck with that. Good luck with that, man. Those guys are toxic masculinity in a fucking nutshell. They'll probably come over here and punch you in your face.
Wearing fucking studded dog collars and all their tats, their tattoos.
Studded dog collars were such like a corny trope for villains in 80s movies.
That's
right.
right.
Like, oh, you knew that was a bad bitch if she had on like a dog collar with spikes.
And presumably carried a whip.
Yeah. Or she'd be the one that's like, don't fucking move.
Oh. There's always got to be the dominatrix wannabe in a good action flick.
The other thing that is worth pointing out is the crowd was cool as shit.
Yeah, not violent or too uppity as you might
With
project.
one exception, Volbeat did have to stop their set because of a fight. They were in the middle of a song, and the lead singer was like, stop, stop, stop. He called for security, told them exactly where the people were fighting. They came over, and he was like, before they started playing again, he was like, we love the energy, but we don't want to see you guys fighting out here.
That's right.
He's like, let's just fucking have a good time, man, or something like that. And
yeah, what
and then they started playing. And ironically, when you think of people fighting, you're thinking of like, oh yeah, Angel of Death came on and I just started whooping somebody's ass. They were in the middle of I Only Want to Be With You, the cover of that old-timey,
that old-timey Hootie and the Blowfish
that's when the
song.
Fight broke out.
Volbeat covers Hootie and the Blowfish?
No. It doesn't really matter what you say or do.
Oh, that song.
Yeah.
I only want to be with you.
Oh my fucking god. Yeah, all those famous Volbeat covering Hootie and the Blowfish
my
songs.
hand.
They would have sold way less tickets if they were doing that. That's fucking terrible.
You said they did do Sad Man's Tongue, which is tremendous.
Oh, and the bass player from Slipknot, his inlays on his fretboard had like spaced apart glowing green dots that they were either so fluorescent or they were like battery powered LEDs or something, but he had these bright ass green circles. No headstock on his bass. It literally was the body of the bass, the strings, the neck, the fretboard, and then boop, just. And I was like, I wonder how he fucking tunes that thing.
Magic.
I've never tuned a bass or a guitar, so I haven't. Well, I tried to tune a guitar once, but I have no idea.
Yeah, well, it's a little easier now that you can just probably.
But just imagine, like you tune it up here, right? You got to twist the strings.
Yep.
How do you do that when there's no?
You can probably adjust them down below somewheres where it attaches.
Slipknot sounded fantastic. Obviously, that's who a lot of people came there to see. I will say, what I noticed at the crowd was people trickling in. Like, there wasn't a ton of people there for the first two bands. People did trickle in during Volbeat, but a ton of people came in when Slipknot was about to hit the stage. And I feel like a lot of them were in the parking lot up until that point.
Yeah, they were there literally just for Slipknot.
I
would think Volbeat wouldn't get blown off like that, but I guess
no,
so.
I don't think they did get blown off. I think, still, if you were under the tarp there, that shit was packed. The pit was fairly nuts. I mean, I didn't get close to it, obviously, but I could see and hear what was going on. Anyway, Slipknot has your stage with a second level, and then they almost had, like, think of like a tanning bed of monitors that came up and like hung over the stage.
Okay.
But if you were close to the stage, they were like pointing down at you. And then on the second level, in the far edges, they have the two extra, how they have like random drummers? They have like extra percussionists.
Yeah.
Boom, boom. And then right in here, towards the middle, is a DJ booth. And then in front of the DJ booth and in front of one of the percussionists, they have floor that's all, you can switch it into Jamiroquai mode. Where it slides around and moves and shit. And so when one of the percussionists or the DJ didn't have to be actually playing during a song, they'd get out there and they'd be busting out all these fucking dance moves.
That is not what you would expect out of Slipknot.
It was awesome.
Way more entertaining than it should have been.
And they had pyro out the ass. They had a couple big bangers in there that would, like, maybe I would have liked earplugs for that moment. But
So anyway, so moving on here, I did want to talk about this here. A big and incredibly long-lasting era I have allowed slip into the abyss in my life.
Which is
this...
masturbating into a sock era?
No. Going strong as ever.
Oh, okay. I thought maybe you were tired of having uncomfortable feet or something.
No, I've got the Santa hat that has a permanent spike on it.
Terrible.
It's tremendous.
No, now you can never wear another Santa hat in my presence.
Well, good God, it took us...
It'll take me to that place. Okay.
I'm beginning...
Wearing a Santa hat
I'm beginning to fear that we need to slip in more sex toy talk.
No.
So anyway, no. The era that came to an end was for the first time in 27 years. I am currently not subscribing to any sort of a fucking wrestling magazine and or newsletter / website subscription.
Well, you don't need those anyway.
Well, that's exactly right. I finally...
Those are fake news.
I stayed with PW Torch for years.
Fake news.
Yeah. They got great archives. Even though my interest in the current day product is waning, great.
You know why they went out of business?
They didn't
Terrible ratings.
They didn't go out of business, though.
People ask me all the time.
Wade Keller's a rich man.
People ask me all the time, why is Wade Keller such a whiny dummy? Why does he look so creepy?
But
right? Isn't that how they do it?
I don't know. I don't think he makes fun of the size of his hands.
Sorry, Wade.
But I go through the whole fucking era as a child, getting the newsstand magazines, Pro Wrestling Illustrated, the old school WWF magazine. 96, I started getting a different newsletter. Then the Torch came into things, and the PW Torch. This is how it all ties together in one way. They practically invented fucking podcasting. I mean, they didn't invent it. I was listening to fucking audio shows, internet radio shows from PW Torch in 2004. Think about that. I don't have to subscribe to that to get wrestling talk. So I finally let it wither away. But we wanted to talk about this, and we are coming back to it here quick. Mentioning the old school newsstand wrestling magazines. Did you ever get any of those? At the Mr. Z's?
Nope. So way back in the day, there used to be a store right down the street from my house called the High Low. And they sold magazines right up front, right when you walk in. They had a bunch of wrestling magazines. I got lured into trying to buy a few once I realized they came out with those ranking lists.
Oh, you thought that was interesting?
Yeah, because I'm like, well, we know it's predetermined, so you can't do like win-loss records, right?
But there's still a legitimacy kind of to how people are perceived as being ranked.
It's a popularity contest like everything else.
Could be, yeah.
So, but no, I never subscribed. I will, however.
But you saw plenty of random of them over the years, and maybe grabbed one or two.
I can admit that I did not subscribe to a magazine, but I did subscribe as a young kid of probably like 9 to a play-by-mail, pay-by-mail pro wrestling league. Almost like Dungeons and Dragons.
Yes, that thing where you could pick 20 moves.
You picked your move set, and you couldn't tell what the point values were going to be. You just knew what they were last time.
Okay.
And it was supposedly all based off of like computer simulations.
Yeah,
but this was in the early 90s when not everybody could just do whatever kind of computer simulation they want. But I loved wrestling so much that the thought of being able to like have some dude open his mail and be like, yeah, this guy's wrestler kicked your wrestler's ass this week. And just be like, yeah, he powerbombed him through off a scaffold or something.
And you could win a prize of like a cardboard belt.
To me, that was, and of course I just had to goad my parents for the funding. But outside of that, the fun of it for me was, here's another way that I can enjoy wrestling besides like watching it and reading about it and shit.
Yep.
To be fair, both of my creator wrestlers were pretty shitty in their overall careers as far as wins and losses. Although,
well, it was like magic. You had to pay to win.
I did have.
You had to buy more powerful maneuvers.
I was in a league one time where people just kind of carefree spent money on matches because basically your dude would only wrestle as many matches as you paid for.
Right. So again, it was pay to win.
So you'd encounter somebody's wrestler who had like 937 wins, and you're like, yeah, okay, buddy.
Yep.
I don't fucking think so.
It was the same gimmick that lives on in online games today. That's funny.
That being said, didn't have time to read wrestling magazines. Yeah. My parents obviously put the kibosh on that pretty quick.
I was spoiled. I got all that shit.
Even if I had talked them into like, hey, hook me up with Pro Wrestling Illustrated or whatever, they still would have cut that off too. I mean, wrestling was not super popular in my house.
Yeah.
My mom didn't care for it. My dad more full-on hated it. He hated the concept of spending 1 penny on pro wrestling because he falls into that unfortunate category of people.
Well, to take a sidey off the magazines there, we mentioned the newsstand magazines mainly known for Bill Apter. I mentioned, well, you sort of met him. You were at an event where he was at. I did have the chance to meet him, which was very cool. And when I met him at this event, I almost fell into the trap because I almost sort of knew what the response would be when I said it to him. But I said, it's nice to meet you. I said, I grew up reading and looking at your magazines. And I knew his response was going to be, they weren't my magazines. I wrote for them. I was a photographer. I was on TV promoting them. I didn't run the magazines. Like, it's funny that to this day, even when people want to give him, like, basically full credit for those magazines, he says, no, it was Stanley Weston. It was this guy. It was that guy. I just think that's pretty goddamn cool. That's pretty humble.
Yeah.
That'd be like if you met, it'd be like if, you're meeting a wrestler you like or somebody. No, it'd be like when we met Sabu, and I was practically fucking jaw-dropped meeting Sabu. It was awesome. It'd be like if you met somebody and you said to them, you're awesome, you're the best of all time, and they respond to you with like, yeah, I guess I'm okay. Like, it's cool that when you're heaping praise on somebody, that they're still, equally as humble in return.
Well, let's make one thing perfectly clear, and you will definitely attest to this as well. He has paid, it looks like, a pretty heavy physical price for his contributions.
He's a short little Jew. What do you want?
You can tell by standing next to him that he has beat the ever-loving shit out of himself.
Speaking of short Jews!
Oh my god.
Sorry, that'll be... Bernie got his segue.
Jesus. Speaking of short Jews...
We won't...
Will you go to a Bernie rally and hope that
I've
you
been
get
to
to
one.
shake his hand?
I would die. I would love to actually meet Bernie.
He'll have a Secret Service guy put a pistol in your back and he'll be like, show me your Bernie.
I'll be like, yeah.
Let's see this fucking Bernie that you do.
I'll be like, hey Bernie, this is the second time I felt the burn today. The first one was chili related.
Jesus. I don't want to meet famous politicians. I think I'm over the idea of meeting celebrities in general.
Yeah.
Because
I don't buy that.
Well,
there's people that you would fucking give a nut to meet yet.
No, but I'm not going to stand in some hotel lobby for 4 hours to have somebody be like, thanks for coming, sign.
Oh, well, that's stalker level. I don't necessarily
No,
go
but
for
that's
that
how
either.
people meet them. That's how they get the access.
Right.
Like, you got to show up for these things.
Or pay a lot of money
stay
for these
overnight
VIP
somewhere.
things they do everywhere.
You got to pay a bunch of money to get into the thing. You got to pay for merch. You got to... But how else are you going to get photo ops and shit unless you're, like, showing up and following them around?
Right. Well, then you just accept that that's something you're not going to get.
Do you find, because you've met both, do you find any noticeable, any differences that totally jump out at you between what it's like to meet a pro wrestler and what it's like to meet a celebrity of any other type? Like an actor,
musician or whatever.
A writer, a musician, anything like that. And you could even throw pro athletes in there. Fuck it. I'll say include baseball, football players, all that shit.
Most anybody I've ever met or asked for an autograph from has been pretty accommodating. a lot of the wrestler autographs I got were in a much more of a frantic scenario because, I mean, you were there for some of them when we would hang out outside Stabler Arena looking, waiting for autographs at the end of the show and whatnot. Not like going to their hotel. I mean, waiting after the show out back for an autograph's a little bit of a different level than being that kind of stalker shit.
Do you know what I like about meeting pro wrestlers? Either they're just coming out to say hi to people, or maybe you're meeting them after a show or before a show or something. The thing I like the most about it is that you just know that you're standing next to somebody who's gone through the shit.
Yeah, they've earned their keep.
It makes them...
You respect them automatically
for
doing what they do.
I think that's why you have a better fan experience, because they're more relatable.
Even somebody who's not, quote-unquote, a great professional wrestler, people should have great respect for what they're able to do, because you or I couldn't fucking do it.
Well, here's how I feel about being a public figure. If I had to pay like $1,000 towards charity to get to, stand around and have an ice cream cone with Kim Kardashian or something, and it all goes to like muscular dystrophy, I'm probably not going to do that either.
Right.
Because what are me and Kim Kardashian going to talk about?
You might be able to grab her ass.
Whereas, I bet you I could talk to just about anybody who's actually been in the ring for a lengthy period over the years.
Right.
And we could just break the ice talking about how jacked up our bodies are. Be like, oh yeah, I had this one redone in 87. I mean, it would be effortless. And so you feel more personable, no?
Sure, you're right,
I mean,
yeah.
I don't want to meet some NFL player. Like, yeah, I'm not downplaying that they also put their bodies through hell, but they do it in like this really micromanaged way, almost like they're pre-sliced cheese product.
Well, Jesus Christ, think about this. You play
millions and millions of dollars. Millions.
Well, and how much,
how many wrestlers make double-digit millions just for performing? Any?
A couple hands.
Cena?
Oh, double-digit? Nobody.
No, like over the course of a year. You think like if Cena does WrestleMania and Survivor Series...
You said just for performing.
Okay, who gets millions per match in WWE? Or anywhere? Undertaker?
Yeah, maybe
Cena.
Undertaker, maybe... I'm not even sure any of them are getting $1 million a fucking match.
Well, but you
even Brock Lesnar, I don't know if he gets $1 million a match.
Well, if he wrestles once...
Somebody could prove me wrong.
But my point is, and then you're going to take somebody who, yes, they're an athlete, but they live in a state that looks like a hospital or something, with like 10 pools.
They're far removed from the everyman that comes to, that supports their lavish lifestyle.
So it's harder, you get a limited time to interact with somebody famous. Man, I have nothing bad to say about any pro wrestler I've ever met, which is a bunch. I used to be able to go meet him at Bud Carson's Pro Wrestling Museum in Allentown. I met a bunch of people there. I met Dreamer outside of Stabler with you.
Yep.
In like, what was that,
our hero,
99 or
Dreamer.
Something? That was back in the day.
2000, yeah.
Okay.
I think he's the only one we met that night. I met Taz at
But he posed for pictures, right? Even though he was taking bumps all night?
Yeah, he leaned against his truck the whole time.
Hey.
He made us go down to him. He couldn't walk up to us. He's
standing
just
8 count.
Come here. I'll sign your shit. Come here.
Imagine that. And then you see celebrities go out in public and like Gwyneth Paltrow or Jamie Foxx or whoever, somebody like comes up to him at line at DQ and they get all...
Well, that's because those people
off with their heads about it.
Those people are a whole nother fucking level of A-list celebrity that generally most wrestlers don't exist in.
I mean, but wouldn't you agree that now, at this time in wrestling, especially with where it's probably going to be heading in the long term, is pretty much like the most intense spike with that you're going to see? Like, pretty much everybody knows who the big name pro wrestlers are now. It used to be relegated to, like, people would watch WrestleMania as a gimmick. Yeah. They'd be like, hey, let's watch WrestleMania. And then they'd be like, hee-hee, wrestling.
I don't know how many people are involved in wrestling currently that the average general public can name. Cena.
You mean general public?
Yeah, I mean, okay. Let's say John Cena made it to that Hulk Hogan, Steve Austin mainstream level.
Well, who's getting
The Rock made it to that level.
Well, they're getting
nobody's there now.
They're getting big boosts from ESPN. I will say that ESPN is bringing them into the mainstream.
No, the coaches bring them into the mainstream.
Well,
how cool was that playing Madden the other day, and the coach
great.
popped up doing the halftime?
That's terrific. Well, he was on 19 as well, as far as I know. I didn't play 18.
Yeah.
Did you have 18?
Skipped, yeah, I have 18. I skipped 19.
Is Coach on 18?
No.
Okay, so this is only his second year. Coach is killing it.
Who would have thunk it?
And just it's, right away you're like, I know who that is.
We remember when he was like feuding with JR and the King.
Maybe that would be a cool one if we ever got to like an event or a con or something and we got to meet the coach.
Oh man,
wouldn't it be cool?
I would
be like, hey coach, remember all that time? Remember all those times you got your ass beat?
Would it be cool to meet the coach? Yes. If I was at an event surrounded by dozens of people I could meet, I probably wouldn't choose Jonathan Coachman.
Well, that goes back to my earlier point about people lining up to go to these.
No, they spend so much money. I know people that spent like $400 to meet Undertaker for 9 seconds, and it's absolutely shit-eating crazy. These people are all going to be broke one day, and they're going to have nothing to show for it but a bunch of pictures of them, which is cool because I like meeting celebrities to some extent too. But it's to spend that much on what is essentially such an absolute fleeting moment.
Well, and
absurd.
Don't forget, you've also got the people who.
Yeah, that's right. The notes are on the back of my oil change bill. What's it to you?
The people who will leave wrestling with not much to get by on other than the autographs they can sell and merch they can sell. And shit like
fuck
that.
yeah! Well, it's a whole second career for these guys. I don't fault them for doing it to make a living. I mean, some of it is still insanely excessive.
Speaking of which, one of my favorite random celebrity encounters, and I'll continue to call them celebrities, even though you say they barely meet the criteria.
No, it depends on which wrestlers we're talking about. Kurgan barely counted as a celebrity in 1998.
Listen, when you see Kurgan in the same fucking building as you, you're gonna know it's Kurgan. If that don't make you a celebrity, I don't know what does.
And
you're not gonna see some 7'2" dude with a neck like a B-52 bomb.
Well, no, that just makes him
think, oh, that guy looks just like Kurgan.
Just makes him a walking Sasquatch.
You're only gonna guess that it's Kurgan once. But anyway, when I got to play him in that arcade stand-up 80s style old ass wrestling game, that was so much fun. Dude has ginormous hands. Way nicer than, if I was rubbing elbows with Kate Beckinsale or whatever. But you and I had a great time when we went and met the bigger, you can say, closer to being celebrities. Mark Henry. Robert Roode.
Hey,
big names.
I have the highest mantle honor. Not trying to brag.
You know what it is? You have your hopes too high.
I met you two. What more do I need to say? All of them at one time. Who wants to touch me?
Oh, man.
I say who wants to touch me?
I'd be curious to know how many people have a U2 encounter story.
They're out there.
Like a good, one time, I spilled my coffee on Bono at the 7-Eleven.
Well, they've been pretty, I mean, not so much lately, but back in the day, they were pretty good.
The Edge clogged the toilet where I work.
They were pretty good for, like, pre-show informal meet and greets back in the day. If there was a reasonable amount of people, they'd pop out and sign autographs for 5 or 10 minutes.
Okay, well, then let me ask you this. Because
not so much now anymore.
You and I are, for the time being, avid AEW supporters.
They haven't proven us wrong yet, buddy.
We're just two people who love wrestling who it's human nature.
Different.
We're going to be loyal to one or the other. We're not going to do everything 50-50 custody. I'm not going to put as much watching time into every single thing I like to watch. Some shows I blow through because they're on streaming services. Other shows I'll be like, oh, small doses.
There's virtually no question that AEW will quench our thirst for pro wrestling.
That being said,
Raw and SmackDown will become less more primary.
Then let me ask you now more than ever, because of the Khan family being willing to dump their money into this, do you think that any of these guys who aren't already are going to end up being legit celebrity status? Do they have the power to make stars over there? Is that what Vince is trying to? Vince is trying to flex on them and say, "Yeah, but you can't make stars." Right? Is it that kind of thing? You get that feeling at all? That's the vibe I'm getting.
Yes, but is making a okay? How about this? Is making a star, meaning you got somebody that walking down the street, the mom and her baby knows John Cena because they see him on the Today Show.
Right. A brand ambassador.
Okay. Or is a star somebody who sells fucking tickets and makes people spend goddamn money on your product? Because if that's the case, AEW will very easily create stars.
Would you say that kind of describes Austin?
Well, Austin was kind of both.
The latter? More the latter?
I mean, even at his peak, John Cena was...
Was Austin a celebrity?
Yes.
Okay, so you'd call him an A-lister.
Austin, Hogan, Rock. There's a small handful.
Let's say going, even before Stone Cold has this successful beer and TV show shit going, just strictly in the ring, he was an A-lister.
In the late 90s, he was
before
an A-lister.
the Marine 27 or whatever he's in.
He was on the cover of Rolling Stone TV Guides, co-starring in Nash Bridges.
You have a better memory of this shit because you're older than me. That's not fair.
And I've been reading my archives of all my old wrestling torches over the years, so I've got a lot of it double ingrained in my brain. Ingrained in the membrane.
But we can both appreciate the same things about it.
Oh, come on, Mike. You wouldn't throw me one.
No, I'm not Cypress Hilling with you. It's not the time or place. In fact,
if there isn't ever a time or place, how is it not right now?
In fact, since we record on a hill, we should have something hill, but it can't be Cypress Hill. They'll fucking whack us with a... I bet you anything YouTube whacks us with a...
I like how you used Cypress Hill as a verb there.
We can't. This could be Shoedogg Hill, but it can't be Cypress Hill.
We're not trying to name your hill Cypress Hill, are we?
I'm really excited, though, for one thing in particular, with wrestling and music together, do you remember when we were younger and we would really get pumped up for pay-per-views, and part of it was, like, what they used music-wise?
Yeah, back when they picked good songs.
Right.
And then they'd be bashed into your head 700 times.
I almost feel like courtesy of, like, NXT and AEW, we might have, like, a second coming of that.
It could very well be, but I'm pretty sure you'll be able to read this thought as it comes out of my mouth. No wrestling promotion ever used popular music like ECW did.
Oh, that's correct. Because they wouldn't want to pay all that money.
Then they didn't have to pay all that money. They got away with that shit on the DL somehow.
At that point in time, yes.
So we want to wrap this one up. I'll tell you what, there's one thing I wanted to talk about. We'll talk about it next time. I want to get your thoughts on a legendary subject.
Go for it.
Nothing else to add, sir?
No, I'm feeling good. I'm excited.
All right, folks. Well, thank you very much. We'll say it one more time. This is Shoedogg and Mike. If you have an hour to waste it with us.